Hey Warren, how you doing? Good evening. I can't hear you unless you're talking. You're on mute right now, but
I'm muted.
yeah, how you doing? Good evening.
Okay. Okay. So do we have any people here? Let's see.
Yeah, we just got one person in here right now.
Okay. Normally we've not been having good attendance at this meeting.
Okay,
But let's see what happens. But we need to move on, so that's what we'll be doing.
okay,
We have an exciting program to do.
can't wait. It's my first time in this meeting, so I'm excited.
Me too. Who is Ema? If I'm pronouncing this wrong, Usurik? Ema, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. I'm
How
gonna
are
be
you?
muted though. I'm actually getting my haircut right now.
Okay.
Good evening.
And are
Good
you
evening.
first of all, welcome. Second, are you a community resident?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Welcome.
Yep, and it's pronounced Ime, by the way.
Ime, that's it. You know, I apologize, but I have a problem enunciating names. So now I got it. We're gonna wait a
completely
couple of
understand.
minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't have a lot of people, but we have a big project we're gonna be doing, so we need all the help we can get.
What's the project?
I'm gonna go into that.
Oh, okay. All right. Clearly, I'm a little anxious here.
Yeah, don't be anxious. It's all good stuff.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh,
Is that Allison?
how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
We're just going to wait a couple more minutes, and if not, we'll proceed. Is this one of your first meetings, Khalid?
My first meeting with economic development.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was looking over the Crown Heights Commercial District assessment.
Uh-huh. From Bridge Street?
Yeah,
Yes. That's what we're going to be doing.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to get started. For whoever is here is Allison and I
Got
may.
two more people coming in.
Oh, okay. We have Dex. Hi, Dexter. Hi, Melina. So before we do anything else, Melina, are you there?
Oh, I was muted. I'm here. I was muted.
Well, the first thing I want to say is happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
That's very nice. This meeting should take about 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's great. I'm gonna do a roll call, and Khalid, can you record it, please? First of all, let me introduce Khalid. Khalid is a new community assistant hired by the Community Board Office. His prior background and experience, he worked in Diana Richardson's office while she was an assemblywoman. And we welcome him, and he's been doing a terrific job. So I just like you all to know him. So Khalid, I'm gonna do the roll call. Can you, I can do it actually. Okay, Matthias Limburger? No, Warren Burke?
Recording, by
Yes.
the way, so.
I know. Okay, Dexter Roberts is here.
Present, sir.
Hi, nice to hear you, Dexter.
Same here.
Michael Labarde is not. Yankee Pearson is not. Greg Clark, who's a resident member, is not. And Marlena is here, and Allison Samuels is here. So let me just see something. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we have a tie. So I guess that we do have quorum, but we have nothing to vote on, so it doesn't matter. I want to welcome you all. I'm glad that you're here. We, at our last meeting, which a number of you were not here, we had a presentation from Bridge Street. Bridge Street is a major, how should I put this? Major program in our area that does a lot of things from transitional housing. We worked with them in the past for a project on Maple Street. And they currently are doing from the Small Business Administration. They have a community CDR, and to review quickly, that community CDR is a grant they get. Last year they did it in Bedford-Stuy. This year they're doing it in Crown Heights, and what it is to measure the commercial validity and identify what is going on here commercially. And it's certainly something we can very much use. It entails, and if you take a look at your invitation or the email today, you'll see the deck that he used, a man named Connor, last time, and it's a good thing for you to use. But it's a very good project. They have a budget of $300,000 to do it. And based on Dexter and mine hearing them last month, I was able to, we talked about at the end of the meeting, how can CB9 help? And one of the things I mentioned was shop local. And I outlined certain things to him, which I'm going to review, but we've generated a proposal to work with them. And it's really cool, actually, because, one of the things this study does is it identifies how much money residents spend in the neighborhood and shop local, and how much money they spend out of the neighborhood. So without remembering the numbers now, in Bed-Stuy, I think it was like 60–70% was spent out of the neighborhood and the remainder in the neighborhood. So the importance of that is twofold. Number one, if people spend more money in our community, it has a lot of advantages. Number one, it provides services. Number two, and the most important in my mind, and it's just my opinion, is it provides jobs. And that is so important in our community. Of course, our community does have a high unemployment rate. But basically, what they needed done was they have to generate respondents. So, the respondents gives them all the data. So the first part of the study is with businesses, which they're doing. It's to identify landlords. and give them a questionnaire of what do they think are the benefits or hindrances for them doing business here. The next level is merchants, contractors, independent contractors, and to see what's going on there. And the last part, and probably the most important, is for the residents. To have them answer questionnaires about shopping and doing business in Crown Heights. The survey reflects our business, our district. The survey is really based on 4 main arteries, which I'll go into in a second. And it actually goes from Atlantic Avenue down to Clarkson. Our interest is from Eastern Parkway down to Clarkson, because that's our community district. So that's an overview. And for more details, take a look at the information in the deck that was given to you. And of course, if you have any questions or anything else, once you read that, please call and discuss it with me. You could just send me a text or just contact the community board office. So what we did is we prepared, and I can't send this to you yet because it's a draft proposal, but I can certainly go over the outline with you. The objective of the project is to generate community responses for Bridge Street CPR project, while promoting, and this is our real interest, the CB&I merchants for the 22 holiday shopping season. Just to give you background, prior to the pandemic, we used to do a major shop local event, and it was privately funded. We were allowed to, through our 501c, we were allowed to, get donations. And our 501c's mission is to support the activities of the community board. The reason we need that is twofold. The budget for the community board is light, to say the least. And the other part is the city rules are very strict in terms of what you can buy and do for the community in terms of money. So for instance, I don't know if any of you are at the meet and greet. That was for board members only. And the reason for that is that budget-wise, we're allowed to allocate funds to feed our board members. We cannot feed the community. We are able to buy certain things for an event like water, tents, chairs, ancillary things. But basically, by utilizing friends of, we're able to do the good stuff. So when you hear certain things being said in terms of my reviewing, if the proposal is accepted, and there are 2 levels of acceptance. The first is by Bridge Street, and the second is it's generated by the committee, and it goes to the executive board for a vote. And depending on the discussion, either the executive board will make the decision, or if there's something that we're not sure about or we have questions of, it goes to the full board. So that's the background. So the 4, what they're doing is they're going on major arteries, and the 4 that they've picked is Utica Avenue, Kingston Avenue, Nordstrom Avenue, and Rogers. We proposed a date of December 10th, which is a Sunday. And the reason we proposed a Sunday versus a Saturday is because Kingston Avenue is mostly Hasidic, and it's their Sabbath. So we want to be aware of that and respect that. What do we want to do? We want to create and deploy a holiday pop-up stations at the major intersections of the selected commercial corridors, jointly staffed by Bridge Street and CB&I. Leading up to the event, and this is all to get respondents, that's the key. Leading up to the event, CB&I will promote and distribute Bridge Street questionnaires to its residents. Now, We're going to be funded to do this through Friends of, if they agree. And what we are saying we'll deliver for that funding is, number one, pop-up design and implementation with Bridge Street staff for the pop-ups. Now, what we envision is that on each of these areas on Empire Boulevard is to create a pop-up for the holiday. So it'll probably be a tabling event, and with the funding, we'll be able to purchase certain things. So what we wanted, purchase certain things and provide materials. So we'll develop the materials for the pop-ups, including banners and giveaways to generate respondents. So what we envision is some sort of table, which is branded with CB9 and Bridge Street, have some food on those tables like cookies and Christmas stuff, which we've done in the past and it's been pretty successful. And also some sort of giveaways for people who fill out the questionnaire. And in our experience, if you want people to fill out a questionnaire, meaning residents, we want to entice them by having a gift. In addition to that, we'll target email blasts to the residents with the Bridge Street QR code. So they have a QR code that you can go to and you can get the questionnaire on that. We'll target CB9 stakeholders to generate CPR responses. Who are our stakeholders? Number one, all of our residents are our stakeholders. Number two, there are a lot of block associations within CB9, and they all will do this work, and they'll actually, be the feet on the ground to go out and have their residents fill these out. You see, who else are the stakeholders? The churches, people like the Armory, to have something there, and things like that. The next thing is, I talked about the block associations. Inclusion, we'll include them in our weekly email blast. And most importantly, the LinkedIn Cossacks that are on our street. CB9 has access to them. So we'll promote the event on that, and that gets a lot of eyes. And we have excellent relations with all our local officials. And I assume all of our local officials will get reelected because they do a great job. And we'll work with them to promote the event. Okay, so that's really the event. And the process from now until it happens, and it's going to happen quickly if it does, excuse me, is that we're going to need everybody on this committee to help us implement. As to what that implementation will be, number one, it will be being available to be at the stations on that Shop Local Day. And that's a lot of fun, by the way, because everybody's in a good mood for the holidays. and two, to work with your stakeholders to get people to fill out these questionnaires. And there'll be more as we do this. But we can't do anything until we get approval from number one, Bridge Street, and number two, the executive board. So that's a review, and this is all based upon our meeting last week. Did I miss anything, Dexter? Dexter? Okay, we'll take that as a no.
I said you did well. Sorry,
Oh,
you did
okay.
well.
I do that all the time, but it was reflective of what we spoke about at our meeting, correct?
Yes, it was.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to open this up for any questions or opinions you have as to whether or not we should do it, whether or not you have any additions, things like that, because our committee is generating this proposal. So would anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question or a couple of questions.
Sure.
Thank you also for outlining what happened last month. And apologies to have missed the meeting. I was wondering first, when do we expect to get approval for this
It will
event?
be quickly. The one thing I can't control is Bridge Street, but they know that there's a time frame on this and they were pretty anxious. And then for us, once we get their approval, I'll bring it to the executive board. Our executive board meeting is probably early December. But the interim will be doing all the work.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I don't see why, well, let me just back up. One of the things we've been talking on the executive board, we have that community fair in the spring, which was highly successful last year. And one of our objectives was to have something for the holidays. And this can be a start. So I don't anticipate any pushback on it.
And that, you said that the approval meeting might be early December?
Yes, but
Okay.
yeah, that will be the executive board, but I'll know ahead of time, and what I'll do is we may have some short special meetings, or I'll contact everybody to tell them what's up. And obviously this is something that's good for our residents as well as the board. Excuse me.
And I think my other questions,
Yeah.
I think are irrelevant at this point. But given your answer, but I was just wondering, one, what's the process for getting local vendors and to be the vendors at this holiday market? And then also it sounds like Bridge Street is in charge of the signage, of developing signage and everything, but I'm just
We'll do that with them.
confirming that that's the case.
No, we'll get the signage made with their input and whatever graphics. We're capable of doing the graphics and the banners. We have experience on this,
Okay,
and it's really not a big deal. But in this case, we work jointly with Bridge Street to make sure that the message that is going out is the message that is good for them and good for us. And don't forget, I just want to add that it's not just this committee who will implement this. All right, we'll have Bridge Street staff, as well as we'll have probably at least 10 people from the community board and the executive board.
oh, awesome.
Okay, so we'll plan this out, and we have set templates that I can share with you once I get the information.
Gotcha. Okay, that answers my last question of any need for volunteers in the design department. That is my job. But I'm hearing
terrific.
that is not a thing.
Oh, thank you, Allison. The other thing that you brought up that I didn't answer was this thing about, we're not looking for other vendors because Bridge Street is the focus. I was sort of toying with that in my mind. So
Okay.
let's discuss it, okay?
I think I misunderstood. I think I misunderstood the purpose of this event. I heard holiday market, and that's not what's happening.
No, it's not a holiday, it's really shop local event promoting the merchants. So what we'll
Is there-
try to do in promoting the merchants, what we'll try to do, and we have to put our heads together. We want to get who the merchants are,
Right.
maps who the merchants are. Do we
Yeah.
want to do a raffle? I mean, in past shop locals, if you went to 5 merchants and you got it stamped, you'd be eligible for a raffle.
That's awesome.
Things like this. But this is all stuff we have. And if we have new ideas, I'm certainly open to them.
Cool.
All right.
Including
other
making the maps of what.
Yeah, I know. You just got yourself a job, assuming you're agreeable to it. But let's
Yeah.
talk, yeah, and we have we have resources just based on experience. But we can also always use, how should I put it, graphic expertise.
I might be overselling myself, but
Don't worry about it, it's a map.
Yeah. sounds great.
I mean, the key is gonna be there, and this, I hope, that right now, what Bridge Street is doing is mapping, okay, the commercial sectors.
Oh, cool.
So we should end up there with all these stores who are interested in.
Awesome. So they're
And then-
doing like the organizing around any stores who are interested in participating with this.
Well,
event?
we'll do the outreach, but they'll
Oh,
give us the data to do the outreach, which in my mind is half the battle,
Cool.
okay? Are
Awesome.
there any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I had one question.
Is this Ime?
Yes, email.
Ime, sorry. Everybody, welcome Ime. He's a community resident. I believe you're on our meeting for the first time. All right.
Hey, everybody. My question is going to getting more details about this. I know you said it earlier, it's going to be emailed to people. It's only emailed to members of the board, or will it be members to everyone who's in the
Well, it really depends. It depends on the timing. Something like this, we will get board approval at the meeting, but it may be later. I mean, it's a function of timing. I'm not sure when our meetings are in December because of the holidays. But what will happen is that the executive board will determine, do they have the authority? Or for what we usually do is just for a double stamp is bring it to the full board. Okay,
All right, thank you. That does answer. But I mean, the details on this particular project, I was curious about. For December 10th.
right. What do you,
Oh, it'll be once it's approved, then they're gonna email us, correct?
I'm sorry, could you say that again, please?
I said once it's approved, that's when everyone's gonna get emails, correct? Or
Correct. Well, actually, once Bridge Street approves it, we'll start doing some background information and I'll be sending out emails. Okay, it won't be official until CB9 approves it.
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, and if you could send your information, contact information to the board office. And I just think it's BK09 at New York City or something. It's on our website. We'd be happy to include you in all the correspondence.
That'd be
So-
great, thank you.
Okay, well,
BK
we welcome participation. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, just logistically.
Yes.
If we're like getting approval the first week or so of December for this project, is there like organization and like anything happening leading up to that we will be made aware of?
Yes, essentially, just so you know, we're not starting from scratch. So when we say we're going to put it on LinkedIn, all we need is the graphics to put on LinkedIn. Contacting all the block associations, we already have that list. And once again, all we need is the graphics to distribute. Deciding on what we're going to be doing for each pop-up, that's something we have to decide and purchase. Okay, so, I mean, what we've done in the past is, and it worked really well, but this was pre-COVID. And it's something we have to really think about the sanitation aspect of this whole thing. If we have any food, so individual wrap things like that. Do we want to what do we want to do for the giveaways? Okay, and that we don't have to worry about cleanliness because they'd be in a bag. And that's something we have to put our heads together. Okay, and say. And at the same time, we'll be getting information from Bridge Street, what they would like to do, okay, and put in it. It's a tight schedule, but we can do this. In other words, we're not starting from scratch. So we're not developing, what we're doing is how should I say, we're using our existing templates to make this unique to the project. Okay,
Great, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, I'm not sure, I don't think, we have 4 and 4. And I don't know if it's obviously not a majority. I think we need 4 + 1, but just for the sake of it, with the committee members who are here, I'm gonna make a motion. I don't know if it's valid, but just so we don't have to repeat it. If someone can make a motion to say that we should pursue the Bridge Street Shop Local project. And then if it isn't good, it doesn't matter.
I make a motion to go with the Bridge Street project.
Excellent. And who is that? Is that Marlena?
Marlena.
Marlena. Okay. Terrific. Any more discussion?
Second.
Okay, second. Thank you, Dexter. Okay, so for the members of the committee, everybody in favor?
Aye.
I'm in favor.
Okay.
Marlena.
Marlena. Allison?
In favor.
Okay, Warren in favor. Okay, so we'll record that as a vote, and then we'll see if it's good enough. That's great. So I don't have any other old business. We have enough new business on our agenda. Ime, I just want to suggest, if you would like to, once you get comfortable, we have some resident members that are not showing up. So if you'd like to apply and just, let the board office know, you can become a resident member if you're interested and you want to do the work. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to. If I can, how would I go about that?
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? You send your number to the board office and then I will give you a call.
Okay, that'd be great. What's the board office email?
It's Khalid, what's the
Yeah.
email?
It's BK09-1 at cb.nyc.gov.
Thank you, sir.
Got it.
Okay, thank you. Noting everything, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
So
Okay.
moved.
All right. Anyone against? Okay, well, thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure. And we will be in contact with you shortly and we'll start working this whole thing out. All right? Once we get Bridge Street in line. All right, everybody have a good night and thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Good night and a happy birthday.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
Have a good dinner. Okay.
I will. Thank you.
All right, take care.